Will the Minister commit here and now to extending the qualifying period for indefinite leave to remain or to bringing in new qualifying criteria?
Recently, some British officials took to Parliament requesting the government to reduce the issuance of British Indefinite Leave to Remain ILR and Citizenship after 5 years, saying, "Failure to act on the Indefinite Leave to Remain rules will bake in catastrophic policy failure and strike a harsh fiscal blow. We got it wrong. The current government must act now to not lock in this disaster."
The mass import of low-skilled workers could cost the taxpayer more than £61 billion, a financial ticking time bomb. Will the Minister commit here and now to extending the qualifying period for indefinite leave to remain or to bringing in new qualifying criteria?
After this, another great intervention came from Katie Lamb MP, saying, after just 5 years, those who migrate to the UK can apply for Indefinite Leave to Remain, EILR. 95% of applicants are successful. This means access to welfare, social housing and the NHS, unless we change the rules. She said,
"Immediate right to welfare support. This implies that there are no costs to this migration, but that is wrong. After 5 years, a person who has come here on a family visa can apply for Indefinite Leave to Remain, or ILR. If they get it, and 95% of ILR applicants are successful, they will qualify for welfare, social housing, NHS care, everything. And all of that costs money."
In recent weeks, a significant discussion has emerged within the UK Parliament regarding the issuance of Indefinite Leave to Remain, ILR, and British citizenship. Some British officials have voiced their concerns, arguing that the current rules surrounding ILR are leading to a policy failure that could have severe long-term consequences for the country. We'll explore the implications of these discussions, the arguments for and against changing the current system, and the broader context of immigration policy in the UK. Indefinite Leave to Remain, ILR, is a form of permanent residency that allows individuals who have lived in the UK for a certain period to remain indefinitely. After 5 years of lawful residence, foreign nationals can apply for ILR, which grants them the same rights as British citizens, excluding the right to vote, and hold certain public offices. The process is seen as a pathway to British citizenship, which many migrants pursue after acquiring ILR. Approximately 95% of applicants succeed in their applications for ILR. This high success rate has raised questions about the implications of granting such status to a large number of migrants. Critics argue that the current system may be unsustainable and could lead to significant financial and social challenges in the future. Recently, several British officials have taken to Parliament to advocate for a reassessment of the ILR system. They argue that the current rules, which enable migrants to apply for ILR after 5 years, are not adequately addressing the fiscal and social implications of mass migration. The officials contend that if the government fails to act, it risks entrenching a policy failure that could lead to dire consequences for public services and the welfare system. One of the most vocal proponents of this change is Katie Lamb MP, who has highlighted the need to reconsider the benefits that come with ILR. Lamb points out that access to welfare, social housing, and the National Health Service, NHS, is available to those who attain ILR, which could strain these essential services. She emphasises that the rules need to be revisited to ensure that the system is sustainable and manageable. The push to change the ILR rules is driven by several key arguments. One of the main concerns raised by officials is the potential fiscal impact of granting ILR to a large number of migrants. Critics argue that the increased demand for public services, such as healthcare and housing, could lead to significant financial strain on the government. The argument here is that without a careful reassessment of who qualifies for ILR, the UK could face a situation where public resources are overextended. Another argument for changing the ILR rules revolves around the challenges of integration. Some officials claim that allowing individuals to remain indefinitely without a rigorous assessment of their ability to integrate into British society could lead to social fragmentation. They argue that a more selective approach to ILR could encourage better integration and cohesion within communities. Concerns about national security also play a role in the debate. Critics of the current ILR system argue that a more stringent approach could help prevent individuals who pose a security risk from gaining permanent residency. By tightening the rules surrounding ILR, the government could ensure that those who are granted the right to remain in the UK are thoroughly vetted. While there are compelling arguments for reassessing the ILR rules, there are also significant counter-arguments that need to be considered. Opponents of changing the ILR system argue that the UK has a moral and humanitarian obligation to provide refuge and support to those fleeing persecution and hardship. Many individuals who seek ILR are escaping dire circumstances in their home countries. Tightening the rules could deny these individuals the opportunity for a safe and stable life in the UK. Many migrants who attain ILR contribute significantly to the UK economy. They fill essential roles in various sectors, from healthcare to technology. Critics argue that by limiting access to ILR, the government could hinder economic growth and innovation. A diverse workforce is essential for maintaining the UK's competitive edge in the global economy. The argument that stricter ILR rules would enhance social cohesion is met with scepticism by many. Critics argue that immigrants enrich British society culturally and socially. Instead of viewing migration as a burden, they see it as an opportunity to foster diversity and understanding among different communities. The debate over ILR cannot be viewed in isolation. It is part of a larger conversation about immigration policy in the UK, which has been a contentious issue for many years. The Brexit referendum in 2016 brought immigration to the forefront of political discourse, leading to calls for stricter border controls and a rethinking of the UK's relationship with migrants. The government's commitment to reducing net migration has been a key theme in recent years. However, the implications of such policies are complex. While there is public support for reducing immigration, there is also recognition of the need for skilled workers in various sectors. Striking a balance between these competing interests is a significant challenge for policymakers. The recent discussions in Parliament regarding indefinite leave to remain and the potential need for reform highlight the complexities of immigration policy in the UK. While there are valid concerns about the fiscal, social and security implications of the current system, there are also important humanitarian and economic considerations that must be taken into account. Ultimately, any changes to the ILR rules must be carefully considered, weighing the potential benefits against the risks. This debate is not just about numbers and policies, it is about people, individuals seeking a better life, and the impact their presence has on the fabric of British society. As the government navigates this challenging landscape, it must strive to create a system that is fair, sustainable, and responsive to the needs of both migrants and the broader community.